more on France's austerity plans. Gilles Moec is with us now. He is a senior economist at Deutsche Bank in London. Gilles, thanks so much for joining us this morning. How likely is it that Sarkozy is going to be able to raise the retirement age?
I think it's quite likely, actually, because what we're seeing now, these demonstrations, it's a little bit part of the game or part of the drill. So we'll have demonstrations, unions are going to be vociferous against the reform, but I think that in the end it will prevail simply because there's a growing awareness in France of the absolute necessity to do something about this. There was a big pension reform which failed in '95 because probably at the time people were not that aware that things were really starting to turn sour in terms of funding gap for the pension system. Things have really changed, and we've seen quite a focus actually on the need for some kind of fiscal orthodoxy, for instance in the last presidential election. So I think that gradually minds are getting ready for something here.
You said likely. If you had to put it on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely on that scale is it going to be that we see the retirement age go higher?
9.
9, a 9 out of 10. Very good. And you said, you know, the French people are probably going to be more receptive, whether or not there's demonstrations. People understand that changes need to be made. Do you think that we are going to see those million people, or do you think that France has taken a cautionary tale, if you like, from the likes of Greece?
Of course, I think that what is happening now is that quite a few adjustments which anyway needed to be done, and we've known for years that the French pension system needs to be overhauled. All these adjustments have been postponed simply because the market was not exerting any kind of pressure on any major government in Europe. And now that we've seen some tension, some big dramatic tension in the peripherals, but also gradually turning into some contagion for the core European countries, and France is clearly in this situation. There's clearly no time to lose. So what we're seeing now is a kind of precipitate version of what we would have seen in any case, because the figures. Yeah.
No, I didn't want to cut you off, but we know that France's economy has actually grown for the past 4 straight quarters. But I think one detail we should probably talk about is even if the retirement age goes higher, it does nothing for the deficit right now.
Yeah, that's the issue. Basically, if nothing is done on the pension system today, potentially this could result in an increase in the public debt to GDP ratio from basically a little less than 85% today to something like 105% of GDP by 2020.
Which puts it in Greece territory.
Yeah, so there's really a need to do something, and this is partly addressed by this government package. But in the meantime, because the reform will only be gradual and will start to have a material impact on public finances, probably not before 2012, 2013, there's a need to do the usual ordinary things to curb a deficit which should be in the vicinity of 8% this year. So there's really a lot on the government's plate this summer. They first need to pull through this reform, which is unpopular and which will be politically costly. And on top of this, they have to find means to curb government spending in the next year, the next 2 years. And this will also create some political tension.
So still some work ahead for France. Gilles, thank you very much. Gilles Moec joining us there from Deutsche Bank.